because these are Native American sites, they do close.
Right.
There are hours. You can't enter the park during certain hours. They do lock down. This is the Exploring the National Parks podcast with Dirt in My Shoes. My name is Ash, and I'm a former park ranger and the founder of Dirt in My Shoes. I think that the parks are best seen from the trail, and I'm here to make national park trip planning easy.
And I'm John. I carry the kids on the trails, I tell stories, and notice all the things that Ash doesn't care about much, like rocks.
Join us as we show you around America's spectacular national parks.
We're sharing our favorite places, fun facts, adventures, and misadventures.
And we'll even throw in a little trip planning.
Let's start exploring.
This is a small park spotlight episode where we choose one of our favorite smaller national park sites to talk about for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Today, we have chosen to spotlight Walnut Canyon National Monument.
What a cool place.
A lot of people probably don't know where this is or what it is. So today we would just want to venture into Walnut Canyon, tell you a few cool things about it so that you can put it on your radar the next time you're in the area.
I did not know this place existed for a long time.
Well, yeah, let's talk about where it is. So it actually, chances are that if you're in the Grand Canyon area and you're wanting to see a few parks while you're kind of in this southwest region, you'll drive right past it, probably.
Right. Yes.
So where you'll find this is it's just outside of Flagstaff. And Flagstaff is the big city outside of the Grand Canyon, South Rim. It's about an hour from the Grand Canyon. But then as you're heading from Flagstaff over east towards Petrified Forest National Park, which is also in Arizona, then you will pass right by Walnut Canyon.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like if you're connecting Grand Canyon to Petrified Forest, this is a perfect place to stop.
Yeah, so it's a national monument. It's not very big. There's not a ton to do here. And so what's nice is like last time we were driving through this area, we stopped in at Walnut Canyon for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, probably with the Junior Ranger book. It took our kids forever to do that book.
That's what I was going to say. This trip would have been much shorter had we not grabbed the Junior Ranger books.
We're glad we did because the kids love getting their badges. It's a fun souvenir. But yeah, it definitely made it a little bit longer trying to figure out how to fill out that book. So yeah, it's a nice little pit stop to come in, learn something cool, see something cool, and then continue on to the other national parks that you're hoping to see.
Quick overview. We talked about this being really small. It just protects 6 miles of Walnut Canyon. So it's really small. And it's only 3,600 acres. But the Spanish, when they came through, they named it Sierra de Sinagua, which means mountains without water. And so it's kind of a dry, arid landscape, but that's why it took this river, it took Walnut Creek like 60 million years to carve this out. It's a really old landscape, and it took the river a long time to carve it out. And it's a little arid, but there's some beautiful trees, beautiful views. It's very scenic.
And Walnut Canyon has a really long human history. So they found artifacts that show that the archaic people were here who traveled through the Southwest. They moved in along here. I don't know that Sinagua without water is really correct in that people would not have passed through here if there wasn't some water.
Yes.
So later on, past these archaic peoples, Walnut Canyon did have permanent inhabitants for about 800 years.
Right.
From about 600 to 1400 or so, there were permanent native peoples that lived in this canyon. But they actually, what I thought was interesting is actually they named these people instead of like the ancestral Puebloans and stuff that you'll find in Mesa Verde. That's what they call those people. These ones, archaeologists have named Sinagua.
Which is super cool.
Yeah, so they're not even the ancestral Puebloan, like that name. This is a different region.
Totally different
name,
group of people.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool because a lot of times when you're doing the Southwest stuff and you're seeing all these native sites, typically is kind of the same tribes, same groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
This one had a totally different name, which I thought was really interesting.
But I think it kind of makes sense for it to be like for the Spanish to come through and then be like, there's no water here. Also, not really any native people here. And so probably what happened is over time, it dried out.
Yeah.
And by the time the Spanish got here and by the time that the native people had left, it probably, the water resources dried up. The Walnut Creek, you can still see some water, that goes through that creek, but it definitely does have its drier seasons and wetter seasons.
So similar to other Native American sites as well, the people started off on the canyon rim, farming. They had like the pit houses, stuff like that. And then it wasn't until the people started moving below the canyon rim and building these cliff dwellings.
Mm-hmm.
And the coolest thing to do in Walnut Canyon is the Island Trail, which is about a mile round trip, and it takes you down below the canyon rim, and then you can hike around. It's a loop trail that you go around the cliff, and you see all of these various cliff dwellings that are still there, which is really cool.
Some of them are really neat, and they built them into these cool alcoves, and you can walk into some of them, which is fun.
Yeah, you can get pretty close.
It's a little bit...
Like you said, you can walk into them. It's pretty relaxed in that you just get to kind of wander along the trail and stop where you want to and take a closer look.
It's a lot different from like if you've had a Mesa Verde experience and you have to have a tour guide take you through, and a lot of times you don't get to touch things. This is more of a self-guided tour for sure.
It's really cool. And it's only a mile, so it doesn't take that long. But it does lose a fair amount of elevation because you're hiking down below the rim. I just remember like the endless stairs. It felt like there's just a lot of stairs.
Ash is so funny because she can hike all day long, but if you take the trail and you turn it into stairs, suddenly it's a chore.
I don't like stairs. I'm like, I will hike up and down a hill or a mountain. That's fine. But yeah, as soon as it's stairs, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired.
So yes, so coming down is easy and getting, walking around the cliff dwellings is easy, but climbing back up can be a bit challenging.
It is, but it's totally worth it. The other thing, so there's really only a couple main things to do here. There's a really small visitor center. They do some ranger programs, and they also have like guided ranger hikes that you can go on occasionally. Those are much more like harder to coordinate if you're just dropping in or whatever.
Right.
So it really is mostly you're just there to do the Island Trail, which is the main can't miss. And then if you have a little bit more time, you can do the Rim Trail. And this one stays on the rim and then kind of talks more about what they did on the rim of the canyon versus moving down and living in the cliff dwellings below. More of the farming aspect, more of the pit house style housing and stuff like that you can do on that one. That one's only 0.7 miles round trip, mostly flat. So those are your activities.
There's not a lot of space to fit in a lot of activities. And so it's...
Well, and like we said, it's really cool because you can visit a national monument fairly quickly as you're driving between the Grand Canyon and Petrified Forest.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And what a lot of people also don't realize is it's part of like a trio of Native American sites that are now national monuments that are in the Flagstaff area.
That are all kind of connected.
By history.
Right, right.
Yeah, they're not next to each other. So you've got Walnut Canyon, you've also got Sunset Crater Volcano, and Wupatki. And so all of those are in that area as well. So if you have an extra day in Flagstaff, go check them all out because none of them take too long to do, but it's really cool. Couple other things you'll want to know about Walnut Canyon. Because these are Native American sites, they do close.
Right.
There are hours. They don't just, and especially for this one, because like John said, it's kind of just a self-guided tour that you're walking around on this trail and experiencing it up close. You can't enter the park during certain hours. They do lock down not only the Island Trail, which they lock down an hour before the park closes, but then also just the entire park itself. You can't come in here when it's not open.
Which makes a lot of sense because protecting these cliff dwellings and the Native American history here was the main purpose for creating this park, what a lot of the locals recognized early in the 19th century was that they found this cool stuff. They had these amazing archaeological sites, but people were coming in and basically just
looting,
taking what they could.
Yeah.
And so in order to protect this entire location and the history and all of the artifacts and everything in it, they created this national monument, and it's still being protected from people that maybe don't have the right intentions. And so it's a great place and a great way to explore this area during the right times, but definitely make sure that you're treating it with the right respect.
Fun fact, this national monument was created in 1915. That was earlier. Yeah, that was earlier than I thought.
Yeah, before the Park Service was even a thing.
Yeah. So pretty cool. But, when you're traveling the Southwest to all these Native American sites, there really is a reverence and respect that needs to be there as you're there. So just check the hours.
Yes.
Make sure you go when they're open, and then hike the island trail because it's super cool and it gives you an up-close look at these people who used to live in Walnut Canyon.
And there's smaller national park sites spread throughout the country like this. And they're all so neat, and they have such cool things that they protect and that they preserve for us to explore. And so if you have a chance, if you're taking a larger road trip, figure out a way to kind of fit some of these smaller monuments into the larger itinerary. It'll really be beneficial.
And it's a great way to get more dirt in your shoes. So go visit Walnut Canyon National Monument near Flagstaff, Arizona, and enjoy learning and experiencing a piece of history.